Hi, this is Megan, and I am here with the new Evergreen tree punch from Creative Memories, and I'm going to show you how to punch it in the round. So I've got some avocado cardstock, I've got my punch, the Jumbo Circle. We're going to use the green blade for this. I do have a ruler, and I'm using a pen because I want to be able to show you those lines so you can see them. You could probably just use a pencil. You would want to work from the back side of your paper. So if you're using a designer paper, you will want to make sure that it's facing down, the pattern that you want to be showing up, because we're going to make some pencil marks on there and you don't want to have that showing through. So other caveat, if you're doing this for the first time, use some scrap paper, use some cardstock. Don't use your pretty paper the first time you do this. You want to make sure that you like your spacing and that it's going to work out fine. The one thing I want you to do if you have your punch is you're going to flip it over. You're going to grab your pen, a Sharpie, something that can mark here on the metal. And we're going to be coming up and we're going to go ahead and punch. We're going to make a mark. Let me show if I can show it to you here. We're coming up 1, 2, kind of like on the outside edge of this top tree. We're going to come up to where that second little jag in is, and we're going to make a line. And then you're going to come across here and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, the fourth one up. You're going to make another line there. So let me just show you where that is. So we go 1, 2, and then I've made a line, and then I come over here 1, 2, 3, and 4, and there's another line right there. And I'm going to use those when I'm punching to help me get things lined up correctly. All right. We want to make sure that our paper is centered on our cutting mat. Our Jumbo Circle is also centered on our cutting mat. And I've got the details. If you want to know how to mark your Jumbo Circle, you're going to need to have that done before you do any of this. If you have a Jumbo Circle and you haven't marked it to be able to get your 30-degree angles, I have a link in the description of this video below that will take you to a handout and another video that shows you how to do all that. All right, so I've got my everything centered. I'm all good to go. Green blade, outside track. Normally I would recommend using a red blade, but the green blade I think is gonna work just a little bit better. The spacing should be good. That removes. Leaving my template in place. I don't want it to move because I'm going to use that to help me mark everything. I'm going to come mark every 30 degrees. And remember, 30 degrees is kind of like the hours on a clock. So I've done noon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now I've got all my things marked. Now what I want to do is, because there's not a lot of space that you can see here, I actually need to make sure that my line extends closer, almost towards the center. It really only needs to come in about a couple inches. I want to be able to see that line all the way through my punch when I flip it over. So I'm going to grab my ruler, line everything up here, and then I will go ahead and mark, bring those lines down a little bit further. So about 2 inches or so. And I am using a pen because I want you to kind of be able to see those lines. It is a little bit difficult, I'm sure, on camera, but they are there. And taking the time now to get everything marked well is going to give you better results. That's why we take the time to mark it. We take the time to mark our punch. We're just looking for those nice, consistent results and even spacing of the punch. Now, if when you're punching, something goes wonky, you can always just use some embellishments or something to cover up the mispunch, or if the spacing's a little bit off. But you should be able to see here, I've got it all marked. Now it's time. We're gonna work from the back side. I'm gonna put my paper in and I'm gonna line it up with those pencil marks or the pen marks that I've made. Flip it over and punch. You always want to make sure you flip it over because I want that debris to fall out, not back into my punch. And there we go. Now, the thing to note is it's really tight up there on that edge. If you can see, it's not going to focus. It's really, really tight at that edge. So there's not a lot of space here. This is where you're going to experiment a little bit to get a feel for how this punch works. You may find that the pencil marks you made need to be adjusted, or you need to make a little bit of adjusted. I feel like I'm maybe swinging the back end of my tree down just a little bit, trying to make sure that that top tree clears the circle, the curve. And that's why as we go with a smaller circle, it wouldn't work as well. That's why I had it started out with the green. I actually did it with blue and it works, but then you can't have any kind of matte or anything. That's why I came back to the green. I really didn't even try it with red. I figured it would be a little tight. And the green works out for spacing. So we're gonna have 12. You're gonna have 24 trees that have been punched. We've got nice spacing all the way around. I'm gonna clear that debris off of my mat here. There's my trees all going in a circle. Yes, there's some that are upside down. There's some that are, the right side up. That has a very much of an arrow effect to it. Now let's just take a peek at how this looks when you add it with some paper. So I cut a mat, or I cut a circle with the blue blade on the outside track, gonna give me that nice border or the perimeter there. And then you can see here, if I center it on as so forth, and then just kind of playing around with some of the elements of the Deeper in the Woods collection, easily come in and add some decorative details here. I mean, just simply grabbing, this is a big chunky mat, which can be nice if you're wanting to kind of cover up some of your upside down elements. You can come in here with a nice chunky mat. Got this log, the cut log, and so forth in there. So you've got some options. You can see where the direction this is headed, but lots of ways that you can play around with this. So it definitely works going in the round, and just don't worry about if there's a little bit of upside down. It has nice movement to it. It actually makes me think like it's just spinning in circles. So, all right, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a chance to give it a try.